What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sign the Traitors 2 times in 1 week. You last saw us on Monday. We're back, regularly scheduled programming. On our Friday slot, I'm your host, Katie. I'm here with my co-host, Isaiah, and we are Silent Podcasts. Isaiah, how you doing? How's your week been?
It's been good. New mic, first podcast on a new mic, new start, same old nonsense in the world of traders, so excited to talk about this episode with you.
Yeah, this episode was off the rails. This is the first week that we have one episode only, which felt like we were missing something. Felt like I was used to having at least two. Felt like it was the right speed, but okay, fine. We're ramping down to one. Um, Anything you want to get into before we start off on the episode? Because I feel like we're gonna have a lot to talk about. This was a mess.
There's no proper start in place for this crapshoot of an episode, so you can you can get into it, and then I'm
Let's
sure
do
we'll
it.
have plenty to say. Yeah.
Diego, hi Diego. Low
What's
key
up,
favorite
Diego?
episode of the season so far. Same, but I also think
Mm.
I might hate this season, so we'll talk about it. We'll get into all of it. Um, as we left off last week, you and I were talking about whether or not we thought the traitors, whether or not the faithfuls, or I guess the traitors, found a shield at the mission, took one, canceled the murder. Guess what? They didn't. No one
Shocker!
took
I
the
said
shield.
that. I
You did
said it.
say it. You were right. You were right.
They would have
Um,
showed something. There was this was such a obvious pump fake here from Peacock.
yeah. You were right. Good prediction. Nobody got murdered. We did have a pretty interesting breakfast though before we found out that no one was murdered. So, you know, as soon as everybody walks in, the first set of people, they start talking about voting off poor Ron. Michael is gone as a reminder from last week. He was the other distraction. It was Ron and Michael were the two that people could pin things on. Michael was banished the night before, so now naturally everybody's going to go for Ron.
Yes.
This was an immediate I thought, like, okay, then they're not going to go for Ron if they're talking about it, which it was close. We could say that it was close. But Johnny Weir woke up on a different side of the bed this morning, a strategic side of the bed, and he started talking to us in the breakfast room, in the confessional about, there's enough faithfuls at this point where if they get a majority of 8, they will control the vote. So he wants to take a big swing. They can control the entire roundtable, and they want to sweep the vote and really make a big move tonight. So he says to the breakfast room, there's 4 big names that are up on the screen that didn't come in yet. Yam Yam, Jam Jam, Eric, Dorinda, and Colton. And this is the first of many times Johnny starts to bring up Colton tonight in this episode, which is very exciting. As you can see, I changed my name to the founder of Colton Haters Anonymous because I hate this man. I was watching with my partner Matt last night when the episode came out, and he was just like, "You hate him to an amount that it's like weird." And I was like, "The dude makes my skin crawl." But then by the end of the episode, he was like, "No, you're right." I was like, "I know I'm right. I know I'm right."
Yeah, Alana was saying the same thing. That she watched one episode with me. And it was the infamous Colton and Michael situation, and said the same thing. So it seems our partners are on the same page
Mm-hmm.
here, Katie, with the Colton hatred. But
Yeah, well, good
yeah,
taste.
this guy is I will say, despite all the mess that he played, I'm not gonna say well. I mean, he has the right read,
He had
but
a
he
good
has
read.
like some insane methods. But like
Insane.
it's just hard to root for the guy, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah,
There's no way to root for him.
yeah,
We'll talk. I don't want to get too deep in. There's so much more to talk about with Colton.
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to get too deep into it.
You're
But
good.
um, surprise, no murder, and then we get a flashback. They find out in the turret, no murder. And Lisa Rin is upset. She's like, I really need to murder Colton. And they were basically saying, like, okay, we'll go for Ron at the round table. That's the move. And then we have to murder Colton. And we need to get ahead of it before it gets too late because he's going to do a lot of damage if he keeps talking about Lisa, which is a big foreshadow for us, especially with this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind
Very,
of bummed
very,
they
very.
didn't get to murder.
I like I said, if your expectations are low, then it won't go too high. I didn't expect to get a murder. And honestly, I would say personally, outside of maybe like Lisa, that it did more help than damage, because I feel like if they did have to kill Colton, which it seemed like they were leaning towards, I feel like Lisa's days are numbered, but like I feel like it would have gave plausible deniability almost. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like they were killing Colton regardless.
Well, yeah, I think so too. And I think Colton, he's playing really fast and loose. And I think
Hmm.
his days are also numbered, whether it's by the Traitors' hands or the Faithful's hands. He immediately, though, at the breakfast, when they find out there's no murder, he's
Hmm.
sitting next to Dorinda and he looks right at her and he's like, your loyalty, you need to like pay attention. I know you're loyal to her because she's your friend, but like you have
Hmm.
blinders on and just like observe. And I'm like, damn, this guy can't even take a breath. Can't even
Right.
take a breath. He's still at the table and he's already starting. Like,
Yeah.
to be this loud and wrong. I mean, he's not wrong in this instance, but to be as loud and wrong as he was and then
The
just keep going and be so confident, it's like I
the
said
better
last week,
saying
give
is
me
to
the
be
confidence.
this loud and obnoxious, because it's like, yeah,
Fair.
people like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, look, like I said, he's playing the game correctly in this time. This time, I'm not going to give him too much
This
credit
time.
this time, but yeah, I don't think his reads are like his reasoning is valid. I think it's based off of just uh outside the show history, like what he's seen on TV. Like, I'll give him credit for sniffing out a traitor, but him as amongst the rest of the faithful in this season have not really done that much investigating. They're going off of like vibes and like feelings instead of like facts and voting history and all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, like I'll give him his credit, but it's kind of almost like a baseless claim. It just happens to be right. It's like filling out a Scantron and then you just so happen to get one of the questions right because you guessed correct.
Right.
Yeah. So there.
That's exactly it. It's like he's spinning a wheel, and then whatever the wheel lands on, he goes with, and he just happened to hit the right thing. So I don't really give him a ton of credit because I do think his reasoning is shaky, which we'll get to because he gives a lot of reasoning. But I think even just the way he plays this out is just truthfully insane.
Yeah.
He does not rest. He does not know what it means to rest. He's aggressive in his strategy. He's he's a mess. So he tells us in the confessional that he's nervous because he feels like he lost some of his goodwill with the Tiffany vote. So he wants to like take a step back. He's not sure how to play it, and he's just gonna have to see how the day plays out. He can't
Yes.
help himself though, so we know that's a lie.
It's not
Lied
going
to
to
our face.
last too long. Okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. After breakfast wraps up, though, we do learn some more about a lot of the dynamics in the house, which I thought this was like a pretty interesting like pre-mission strategy session. There's like a lot of different pockets of people talking. We learn, Steven is in the kitchen. He's talking to, I think, Rinna. Colton's also there. I think Candace might be there. And they're just all regrouping about Ron. Dorinda's there. And I do have to say, Dorinda's like a dog with a bone with this Ron thing. Like, I don't understand. And there's definitely other beef happening because Ron was like commenting on some stuff saying like she had bias against him and she said it really like heinous things to him that they didn't show because they weren't game related, which
Believe
doesn't
it.
surprise me knowing Dorinda from Housewives. It does not surprise me. She's a disaster of a person.
Yeah.
But like leave poor Ron alone.
Like I want to know what dirt Dorinda has on whoever's on production, because not only is she in the season, but I could sniff something was not being shown, because when they had their little like squabble in the room episode or two ago where Ron and him, I mean and her, were like directly like, I don't trust you, I don't like you, but like I'm like, where did this come from?
Right.
So, it's I'm glad Ron said that, because it's a lot more obvious that like they are protecting her to some degree. I just don't know what was said. I'm sure we'll never find out. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Dorinda fan by any means.
No. Well, you never know what we're going to see or hear at the reunion.
You're right,
Because
right.
Dorinda and Bob the Drag Queen had it out last year at the reunion. Ron does not seem to shy away from going at Dorinda. They got into it a little bit at the round table again in this episode. So I'm also very curious to know what she said. So
Me
hopefully we
too.
find out somehow. It seems like Ron would be open to sharing anyway. Like it seems like
Absolutely.
he's on social media talking. He's doing a tour, a comedy tour, and
Mhm.
I feel like he's gonna just like spill
I
on
hope he
that. So
does.
hope we find it.
I
Me
hope he
too.
does.
I would like to hear it. So they're all talking in that kitchen about Ron. Yeah, we're going around tonight. That's the plan. That's the plan. And then Steven is like, can we just like consider the fact that maybe it's not Ron? And then Colton is like, I just don't want to be stuck up there. Like, I will go for Ron tonight, but I just don't want to get stuck up there being wrong again. This might be the perfect setup. Him and Michael are the perfect layups for the Traitors, which, again, not a bad read. He is right in this instance.
Right.
So it's interesting that the tides are starting to shift away from Ron.
It feels like the tides are shifting away from Ron. Like this episode does a fantastic job with, I guess, like highlighting the possibilities, because I do think that, like, and obviously if you're watching this podcast, I'm assuming you watched the episode, so spoiler alert. I'm assuming that Ron was always going, and I think the majority was always there on Ron. But I think this episode's conversations, more so than saving Ron, was more so a setup for what's the plan once Ron is out of here, because even if he is a traitor, there's got to be more than one, and I do think that's the correct strategy for a lot of these people. Because Ron, believe it or not, even though you think he's a traitor, he's not. He has genuinely been pinned so many rounds. You had to vote the guy out regardless. And I'm sorry, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I agree with you. These conversations were definitely, I feel like, setting up future events, especially like, the little twist thing they're doing at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with you. While this conversation's happening in the kitchen, we actually are getting Rob and Ron bonding while they're playing chess, which ends up being a pretty important part of this episode. And it seems like they really started getting to know each other. They really started to like each other. They enjoy each other's company. They formed some kind of like friendship bond. Rob does ask Ron if he's heard anyone say his name, and he says no, not at all, not once. But if Rob was a traitor, he would be great at it because he's really smart. And Rob's like, yeah, whatever. But he does tell us in a confessional he's really starting to like Ron. He feels bad for him. He's clearly an introvert. And sometimes people just are not comfortable in situations like this. And in a crowded room, sometimes that could be like the loneliest place for someone who is an introvert, which I thought was a very wholesome moment. And I'm glad we got like some softness on Ron, because I felt like we talked about it last week. It just felt like everybody was being unnecessarily hard on him for just being different. So I'm appreciative that we got a clip of Rob standing up for Ron, and like telling us that he's like actually a nice guy, and he's starting to like him.
Yeah, I felt like obviously, like, strategy, personal feelings aside, like strategically, I feel like I'm starting this episode highlighted to me something that I wanted like the other traders to do this season, which was like have a sense of a solo game and like solo interest. Like, it's not going to be rah team traders the whole time. Like, I think Rob is finally doing what I wanted Candace to do the whole season, which is try to keep the people around that trust you, because you're going to need them at some point in time in the game. And I think Rob is doing a fantastic job, at least trying to establish some sort of inroad with the faithfuls. So I like this moment.
I totally agree. I think it's really good that Rob started bonding with other people, and he has, right? Like, obviously in the house or the castle or whatever, he's not the closest with Candace and Lisa. They're not besties walking around, but I'm glad that he's prioritizing himself. I mean, I'm rooting for my girl Candace, but I'm glad that he's making inroads for himself and carving out a path for him and giving himself options, because we talked about it last week. I worry about Candace not having any options other than maybe Johnny and Tara, whatever her name is. Because she does seem close with them, but she can't count on the Housewives, because that's very clear. And it doesn't seem like she has as much of a relationship with Dorinda as Rinna has with Dorinda. So I don't even know if that would be like a bond necessarily. So I don't know. And Dorinda holds no weight anyway.
I was going to say that when you willingly throw away the people who do want to work with you to the Sharks, it's kind of like you're going to have a upwards battle at some point. She definitely needs to make some new allies ASAP starting next episode.
Definitely. Absolutely. While this is going on, Johnny is gathering some troops around the house, trying to build a group, trying to get a solid 8 and spread this this word around the house that, if we have 8, 8 faithfuls, we can swing the vote. Like, let's think about what we should do here because we really should be looking at 2 people, and those people are Ron and Colton. So this is the first time that Johnny's really taking a big swing and throwing Colton's name out, which does become a theme this season. Um, Mark also is a pretty big proponent. He's talking about it, but he's like a little less bought in. But he is saying, like Colton's reckless. He's throwing a lot of names out. It would be a huge get if we were able to take the shot and hit, which obviously we know they wouldn't. But Colton is a dangerous player because he turns on a dime and you never know. And then he has all this, for some reason, this influence of like over people, and they listen to him. So Kristen's in because she's been talking about it for a couple episodes now that she finds Colton to be the ringleader. But they're getting some traction.
I feel like Mark is. I don't think the edit is kind of like accurately proposing like what he's really here to do, because he says that and then his vote kind of like highlights a different motive. So it's like, I'm not going to give him too much credit. Like I think he's just completely random here. Like I think he's just going with the win right now. But it was interesting to see kind of what these players were thinking.
Yeah, I agree with you. The votes were confusing in general, which I used to write down who voted for who. I stopped doing that a while ago, but I did do it for this episode because I was like, these votes are not telling me the story that this episode told me, and I'm confused. But I'm giving a lot of credit to Johnny for waking up. And I'm glad that he's trying to rally some troops. I don't love a group vote or a group think or an alliance in the Traitors. I feel like that kind of stifles the gameplay a little bit. But if it's against Colton, I'm happy about it.
I kind of found Johnny a little annoying, to be honest, to kind of contrast that. Yeah, because I feel like, and I'm so sorry if I'm keep bouncing around. I think Johnny is like, he has the right strategy, but like you're completely wrong with your reads, like on every facet. I feel like obviously I don't like Colton, so like I'm glad that like he was leaning against Colton, but like you're completely wrong. Like honestly, Colton actually had the right read here. And I also felt like Johnny like had like he was presenting like big boss energy during the Michael vote and in the confessional and in these meetings, he's presenting big boss energy. And then when it's time to like, put that energy to the test and you're at the round table, like everybody but him is kind of saying something. And I'm just kind of like, oh, you're just like, you're just saying that, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm optimistic about Johnny. I don't have like the strongest feelings. I feel like him like painting all these targets and then staying silent at the round tables is going to actually like lead to him like getting himself voted out at some point,
I think you're right
or killed.
Too. Yeah. Or killed if he picks the wrong person or says it in the wrong room with the wrong people, or
if it gets back to them,
exactly.
Scary.
Yeah, for sure. While this is happening, Colton pulls Natalie to go offer a talk, and that's where he really starts digging in on his Lisa theory with her, which again, this man does not rest. And his whole reason, which I find to be a really poor excuse for targeting Lisa, is that it's unspoken to go against a housewife. You never go against a housewife. And to me, this is like so not rooted in reality because the housewives are not a monolith. The gamers are not a monolith. They're all individual people. It is a little bit irritating to me only because I feel like it is partially sort of the show's fault for casting so many from one franchise. Same with gamers. I mean, I feel like they've created this metagame themselves that now you don't even know who the housewives are. You don't know them. He says as much later, but he knows the unspoken rule is that you never go against a housewife. And I think that's actually really stupid because the housewives, if you watch Housewives, they feud all the time. They're not all friends. There would be no show if they were all friends.
I would love to co-sign that. But again, and this is kind of the fault of production with like the CBS coalition conversations. The Housewives have become an entity within like the last 2 seasons of not turning on each other no matter what. I think the Phaedra and I think it was Sheree, like they were refusing to like vote each other. It was crazy. Or even last season, like I just think that the Housewives this season are paying for the actions of Housewives for the last 2 to 3 years. It's just like the Big Brother players. just like the Survivor players. Like usually the only people who get the fresh start is the people not from those 3 shows, but Housewives, Big Brother, and Survivor have such a big presence in the world of US traders that there's just patterns that are hard to shake instantly. So I don't blame anyone for feeling that way. I feel like I would instantly assume Housewives strong no matter what, So I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's. I don't disagree with you. And I think that's why I'm just more irritated about like how the meta game has formed around the Housewives and the gamers specifically. Because I think last season, we didn't have Housewives in the turret, but we had 2 survivors in the turret, and they couldn't stand each other. We had 3 gamers, and it was the most chaotic turret that we had, and they were going against each other the entire time. So I think, later in the episode, I think at the roundtable, we just hear Natalie say, I would never go against my people. I would never vote against a fellow survivor. And it's like, well, that's you. But last season, they were at each other's throats the whole time. So that's not always going to be the case. And just because like you would act a certain way doesn't mean everybody would act that way. But it is an advantage, I would say, to come into that house or that castle or whatever with a huge built-in alliance if you take advantage of it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So he's spreading this already, and he's just like, if I die, just keep your eye on it. Pay attention to who speaks up for Lisa, and who sticks up for her and tries to get the heat off of her, because that's also suspicious. Which again, I hate the man, but it's not a bad thing to say. Like, look out for this, because if it is her, then maybe we could, suss out too. But I hate him, and I don't want to give him any credit. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't like him.
Yeah. And I think in this moment, he tells Natalie, like, I'm only sharing this with you, or like, keep this between us. And then he immediately, on the way to the mission, spreads it to his entire car. And I'm like, bro, I thought you were going to keep it to yourself. And you're like, I'm 100% going for Ron, but I think it's Lisa. So it's like, okay, you might not throw a name out the round table, which he ends up doing anyway. You're throwing it out in the car. You're like trying to just get other people to do your dirty work.
Yeah.
So like, just take 5 deep breaths in a row. Just 5.
I feel like Colton felt like he was a Dylan Efron, because I feel like Dylan was one of those players who had the luxury of just throwing people's name out because they just trusted him so much. And Colton probably has this false sense of security after coming out of this vote, having everybody vote out Michael. Like, he probably feels extremely powerful right now, to the point where he could just say whatever. But it's like, bro, you're not Boston Rob. You're not Dylan Efron. You're not half of these guys that in the past have just like been the detective. You're not the detective just because you got Michael out incorrectly. By the way, he's not right. A traitor. Like you haven't accomplished anything.
Nothing.
Why are you?
He's been the most strong.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. That's
why I get so frustrated, because it's like any other person would stop like tweaking out. He's like freaky. His eyes are crazy. Look, I mean, he looks crazy, and he's just like can't slow down. And I'm like, you are so wrong consistently. 2 roundtables in a row, you led the vote, and you were wrong 2 roundtables in a row, and you came in hot both times. And then he didn't even, like we were saying last week, with as soon as that Michael roundtable was over, he just immediately started talking about Lisa. Like, he didn't even take a minute to be like, wow, Michael was a faithful. That sucks. Nope. He went right. And maybe he did, and we didn't see it. But like the way that we are seeing it, he's just moving a million miles an hour. And then he comes out of that conversation with Natalie, and then immediately goes to antagonize Lisa. And he sits down with her, and she's like, he's like, oh, I get to see your eyes, not wearing sunglasses today. Housewives stick together. And I'm like, I want to shove his face into a mirror. Like, stop. Just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. Just shut the fuck up.
I think he said that he's like a Survivor fan. At one of the roundtables, he was familiar with some of the players. I feel like him, as well as like Johnny and a couple of these other people, are just getting the opportunity to like live out their strategic show like fantasies. And I think Colton's just off of this high of being like, yo, I just like ran a vote, like I can do what I want, like that's probably in the back of his mind, where he's always imagined like, oh, like I wish I can do this and that. And then he finally has done that in a very weird way, may I say. But he ran a vote, and he probably thinks he's a strategic mastermind. It's like, bro, this is not a vote out game. Like, this is a detective game, and you actually didn't do well. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to you Colton for getting another faithful out.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I can't with this man. And I think I mean, to your point about the Dylan Efron thing, I really think Colton, I think he's been on a few other shows besides The Bachelor
Yeah.
after his scandal. Like, I think he was on maybe Special Forces or some show like Special Forces, some like D-list reality show. But this is the first, I feel like, A-list opportunities he's had post Bachelor. And this show is probably bigger than The Bachelor at this point. I mean, it's like the biggest thing to happen to reality TV in a really long time. So he's definitely seeing this as like his moment in the sun to like redeem himself. And he wants that Dylan Efron energy or that Pilot Pete energy to be like the hero of the season. But what he doesn't realize is that like you are just an unhinged human being. You are problematic. You have tendencies that you have, like, you stalked your ex, you made up a fake stalker to say like and pretended to be a stalker. You were actually her stalker. Like, that just doesn't leave a person that's like who you are, and you're a psycho. So that's going to translate to everybody that's watching the show, and we see it in your unhinged energy and the way that you're acting. Like, you're not this like nice, harmless white dude Dylan Efron who's like, oh, I have a famous brother, but I'm also cute. Like, that's not you, bro. You're trash.
Yeah.
But he thought it
Well
was.
said.
He thought he could ride the wave. Thought he could ride the wave. He can't.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you. So anyway, they're on the way to the mission after this. Colton, once again, like I said, brings up Lisa. And then he's like, what do you think, Rob? And Rob plays this really well and just says, it's plausible. He doesn't say yes. He doesn't say no. He just says it's plausible, which is good. And I think they showed that specifically because of what he said to Natalie. So like another good play by Rob, I think. I keep like almost saying Ron when I'm trying to say Rob. So sorry for saying Rob weird because I keep starting to say Ron and I turn it. I have to be honest about this mission. I hated it. I thought it was really boring. Nothing interesting happened.
Yeah, I think they were expecting more like screaming and more like one-off quips and stuff. Or I I think production is really banking on people like feeding off of greed like past seasons and to take shields, because I think the shields upgrade was so awesome last season. I think that brought such a different aspect to the game because it really threw a lot of plans off and stuff. But I think people like Natalie and Johnny and some of the other players have really established this no shields rule or you're going to get voted out, which I think it's kind of bullshit, to be honest with you. And
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yeah,
I wrote a note about it. I hate this, and it really irritates me, especially from someone like Natalie who plays games. Like, are you going to play Survivor and not take an idol if you find one?
Right.
No, you're not.
Now listen, it's a beautiful strategy if you are comfortably in the faithful like group and like you're in the know. Like, Natalie is fully in a position to do this. This honestly, in my opinion, strengthens the argument for her not to be a traitor. Like that. Like,
see, I disagree.
For me, for this group of people, I think it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of like leaders either. Like, I think Natalie is one of like the de facto leaders because she's so outspoken, and I think she's in a position to do this. But like, if I'm people like Jam or Colton, which he declares later on, or any of these people in danger, I'm like, I don't care what if I'm already in trouble. If I'm Ron, I'm going. Well, obviously you couldn't, but if I'm Ron, I'm taking one. I don't care. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if the rules was like you can't grab a shield unless like one of your fellow whoever you were running out with took one.
I feel like that had to be what it was.
They need to get rid of that.
Jam wanted to take it.
Yeah, they need to get rid of that. I don't like it, and like there's still risk there. Like, they can still get voted out. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand why they would even like do that. If that makes any sense, right. I think it's stupid. Yeah,
I think it's stupid too, and I think to your point about it with this cast, I think it's fine for Natalie, but any other cast who has any like strategic prowess whatsoever, which this cast is not strategic. They are not good at investigating. They're not actually trying to investigate. They're just picking one name and everyone's going after that one name. But if I'm somebody in this house or castle, whatever, and somebody is like, if anybody takes a shield, you're going to get banished tonight. I'd be like, why wouldn't you want a shield? Why do you feel so comfortable that you don't need one? Either you know who a traitor is and you're partnering really closely with them, probably not, or you're a traitor, because you should understand that we're all nervous about getting murdered. Maybe they're like sitting pretty.
Oh no, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. I was about to say this is like Boston Rob tactics. It's fear tactics, and it's
Yeah.
a huge group think. It's like, oh, if anyone takes a shield, like you're gonna get voted out. I'll be like annoyed, but like if I'm Jam Jam, I'm taking
I'm
it. I
taking
don't care.
it. Yeah.
I don't care.
Uh,
Like at this point, like you guys already think I'm a traitor. Colton literally said what I would say. I'm going for all of them. I don't really care what the house is saying. I'm doing it. I would do the same thing.
yeah.
Stop me.
I mean, it feels I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels weird that everybody went along with it and they were like, "Okay, no shields." It's like but you guys could get murdered. You have no idea who the traitors are. No idea. You might have one only because Colton started throwing her name out and you didn't even get her out tonight. So like
Mm,
why are you all so comfortable? Which I will
yeah.
say is very annoying that like each episode I feel like there's some annoying gimmick where we can't just have like a normal straightforward murder,
Hmm.
which I think we thought we were getting tonight, but we find out there's a twist at the end of it. It's like, okay, murder in plain sight, then not the short list, murder in plain sight. Then there's the
I
canceled
agree.
murder. Then there's this. I'm like, can we just like have the show happen as it's
Yeah.
supposed to happen?
I think I said this draft night, and I think Lance was kind of like disagreeing, but like I did not want the traders to go full Big Brother because I think that the game is really being affected.
Yeah.
Not like it's like not fun to watch because I think it does keep you on the edge of your seat, but in integrity of the game as well. And I'm a huge gamer. I think that it throws off like let's say they wanted to kill someone in specific, like let's say they wanted to take a shot at like Tara tonight. Now they can't do that, and now Lisa, who's in the hot seat, because I feel like if they had the option, they would have transferred the jewels over to Candace, but it's sewn in her shirt or something. Now
Yep.
Lisa, who's already in some hot water, has to get someone to touch this thing and look even more suspicious. It's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
right idea, but like you guys are doing way too much for the beginning of the season. This is like end game stuff that usually people would do. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, I could see it one or two nights of a twist, but every episode so far, where Alan told us this week, we're at the halfway mark. Every episode so far has been a not straightforward murder because the
Yeah.
first two or three had Donna's shortlist, and then the one that should have been a like breath of fresh air for the traders say like, okay, we could relax. We got the secret trader out. We know like we can get someone that would be a good kill for us, and
Mm-hmm.
it's they can't murder. And that should have been the night that they're able to murder Colton because now
Agreed.
Colton's able to spread his poison throughout the house. And now they probably can't even murder him tonight anyway because it would be so obvious. And,
Right.
again, not to jump around too much, but with what they said at the end of the episode, Candace called it out and was like, there's going to be no way Lisa can get Colton tonight because he's going to stay as far away from Lisa as possible. So she's screwed.
I think literally people already said nobody touch any of the food. like I feel like
Johnny
this is
said
gonna
nobody
be
touch
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
which is
Like this is gonna
crazy.
be a problem. It's gonna be a problem.
It's going to be a
Um
problem.
and I think Lisa's gonna get caught very quickly within the next 2 or 3 episodes. It's really sad, but yeah,
It's sad.
production doing too much.
Doing too much. But anyway, this mission's kind of boring. The TLDR of it all is that they're like all sitting inside this cabin that comes back every season. It's like a spooky haunted cabin, full of jump scares, and they have to like decipher clues to pick the names that are on the gravestone and then run to the one that it is with the right name on it. The end. That's it. And you could get a shield, but everybody decided to be really nice, well, rule abiding faithfuls, even though it's in the rules of the game that you could take a shield, to not take a shield. And then they were also talking about it when they got back to the castle of like, oh, I would never take a shield. I think Tara said she would never take a shield. Maura said she wouldn't take a shield. And then they were like, did you see Natalie talking about like if anybody gets the shield, they would be banished. And that's when Jam Jam was like, yeah, but I was going to take one anyway. Like, I wish someone did. I just wish someone did. It's like irritating.
They're flopping
Flopping
whenever you
hard.
pass it. Yeah.
This is a really, really, really bad group of faithfuls.
Yeah.
Like you need one. Like we needed Rob Sesternino or Tiffany. Tiffany was wrong. Her reads were wrong, but at least she was
Portia
trying.
was right. Portia was on to them too. I think Ian would have caught on to them. I think a lot of the people with common sense, Monet had potential. I just think a lot of the people with common sense are just not here anymore. Even Michael brought something. He was like, I think it's one of the pretty boys.
I mean,
he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong, you know?
Trying.
Like a lot of the killings have been great on the traitor side and then completely terrible on the faithful side, to the point where everyone with common sense outside of like maybe like Natalie, maybe slightly like a Johnny, and then like I'll give like Kristen some credit to, because that's, she's trying, but there's just
Yeah,
like a
she's
lot of
trying.
common sense not really being like uh, thrown around in this house, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, it's beyond. I think if we had Rob still in the house, at least we would have somebody leading the charge to like actually investigate and understand how the game is being played. But right now it's like one person throws out a name and they just follow. And I'm
Agree,
frustrated with
Mary.
Natalie because although she's playing the game, I don't really, let me rephrase. She's playing a game. I don't know what game she's playing because I don't feel like she's doing a lot to try and find anybody. She's just like being a little bit self-righteous in how much of a faithful she's going to be.
So here's what I'm gonna say. I think she's doing exactly what Sandra was doing, outside of just like, she's not really taking a hard stance anywhere. She's just trying to stay focal. So she seems like she's involved. She's involved in certain conversations, but she's not really like actively in like any of the real strategic talk outside of like what the Colton conversation. Like, I think Natalie is just trying to stay involved, but like not in the front lines, which is fine for longevity. But I don't think anyone necessarily like cares about Natalie enough to consider her like a real ally in this house, and she could easily get voted out very quickly, because I can see someone bringing up, oh, you want Survivor, so like,
Mhm.
let's vote you out. Like,
I know.
I don't know.
I could see her just being a really easy murder if they're thinking about it. Like she's not really tied to anybody. It wouldn't really get blood on anybody's hands. She's so obviously a faithful. Like there's really no reason for the traitors to keep her around. She's not doing anything for them. So I think Sandra played a better game only in the sense that like she was buddying up with the traitors at the time because she kind of knew who they were, right? Like she was playing like the traitor angel game a little bit more. Natalie's just like, I'm a faithful, I'm a faithful, I'm a faithful. Don't take a shield. I'm a faithful. So it's like, you know what? Just go. You could go. You could get murdered. Maybe she'll get murdered at the thing,
Yeah,
at the
I
banquet. Who
hope
knows?
so.
She would be an
I
easy
hope
one.
so.
Yeah.
Very.
Um. Anyway, only one team. I think Tara and Candace got the answer wrong. No one took a shield, and then they went back. The end. Really boring. Nothing game changing happened in this mission. But on the way back, the last three left in the house cabin, whatever, is are Ron, Rob, and Eric. And Ron is basically like, it's kind of a bummer that it's probably going to be me tonight because I'm actually finally starting to enjoy you guys, and I'm starting to just actually have fun. And Rob gives us a little bit of a hint of like, don't be so sure. Anything can happen. Things change really quickly in this game. Um, and he had a shot. He had a chance. He had a
You
chance,
know.
but unfortunately, didn't happen. Um, we do get back to the castle. Johnny's crew is like trying to rally the 8 people, and Colton is the target. This is where I get confused because I do feel like they had 8 solid votes on Colton, other than Rob. Rob was not a final yes on Colton, but
I didn't think that the person who was rallying the votes was not vocal by any means at the round table. And when you don't have a
mhm.
fearless leader, like to run the vote, then it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people try to speak up, but Johnny was absolutely silent, like, and flopped, in my opinion. Like, say
Yeah,
what you want
Kristen
about, like,
said more.
yeah, like, say what you want about Colton or Boston Robert, these people, but like, if they're like conspiring a vote, they're going to make sure that people hear it from them instead of having your allies do it, because now you just kind of look like a phony. It's like,
Mhm.
you need to talk at a round table. You were literally telling Michael, I want you out of my castle. What castle? Like, you're not running anything. Like, you're
Right,
not
right.
doing anything. You have no influence. You just want to be in the in crowd. And ugh. I'm not a Johnny fan. I'm sorry, but
That's okay. I'm
listen,
not either. I
yeah,
appreciate the attempt at strategy, I will say. Like at least someone is playing and trying to do something. But again, I
yeah,
don't really like a group think vote, especially without any evidence to back it up. I would have been
yeah.
happy if it went my way and Colton's out of this castle, but it didn't, and it was a flop because everybody
Mhm.
voted different ways. Nobody even stuck together with that group. So what was the point of this entire thing?
There was no
Not
point.
no point. Um, aside from that, Lisa, Rob, Candace are in the kitchen with Rob. I said Rob already, said it twice. And Rob breaks the news that he doesn't want to vote for Ron. There's other people in there, but he's just like, I don't think Ron is a faithful. I mean, a traitor. And Candace and Lisa are just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, say it again. And they're like, well,
No.
he is an actor and he is like a comedian and he could be lying. And Rob was like, yeah, maybe, but I just I've looked him in his face and I've asked him questions and I believe him. And I like that he's breaking the news to them a little bit that he's wavering, but I was a little nervous for him in this moment.
There's not a lot of common sense in this Traitors Tower. I mean, sorry,
Not
the
much.
Faithful House at all. There's not a lot of like redeemable, rootable people left in the group of
No,
faithfuls at this point. Like, I
there's
just kind of want
literally
the end
not
of this.
one.
Yeah, they're kind of annoying.
Extremely. Um, so Johnny's trying to whip some votes against Colton. Rob is ceding the fact that he doesn't really want to vote out Ron. And Colton, psycho ass, says to Lisa, I want to talk to you in the living room, whatever, billiards room, kitchen, whatever room they went to. And she's like, oh, okay. And she sits down with him and he goes, listen, I want to talk to you, whatever. Like, I want to win this game with you. And she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, and if you protect me I'll protect you at the round table if you protect me in the turret. And I'm like, this dude, he tells us in the confessional he wants to take her hostage. And I'm like, bro, maybe choose your words because you are a literal stalker and you have restraining orders against you and you're insane. So, like, I don't know that you should be on the biggest television show out right now saying you want to hold people hostage, but like, just saying. And I thought Lisa handled herself pretty well because this was a totally out of pocket thing to do. We've never seen anything like this, I don't think.
Here's my thing. I'll give Colton some credit. I don't think this was the right thing to do by any means.
No,
I think it was a bad execution. But with that being said, at the round table, Lisa had a plethora of opportunities to expose Colton and did not do it. And I don't think she would have had the balls to kill him because it would have exposed him. So I do think, unfortunately, his plan sort of worked to the point that it's like, all right, she was not going to bring this up. She had the opportunity where everyone was throwing Colton under the bus. She could have said, he walked up to me and said that he was going to save me in here if I save him in some Traitors Tower. I don't even know what, like she could have been on that bandwagon and gotten Colton out, but she didn't do it. I think she was afraid. And then now, if you kill him or you even try to kill him or do anything, you're going to look bad. You can't even kill Colton now. So I think
she was screwed no matter what. If she said it or if she didn't, I think it would have screwed her no matter what, because then she's out loud saying,
right,
Colton thinks I'm a traitor. He came to me. He said he wants to work with me. And then if he doesn't get out, even if he does get out, they could be like, well, Colton was a faithful and he did say Lisa was a traitor and she wasn't. I mean, and he wasn't a traitor. So maybe we should go with the theory that maybe he was right and we killed him by accident when we should have killed her or banished her. And I think either way, it draws too much attention to her if she brings that up.
Right. But I mean, he wasn't
wrong.
He
brought it up. He's
wrong.
dumb for bringing it up.
I'll give him credit, but at the same time, like I said, horrible execution. Like there's a way to do this that is actually successful, if you ask me, without like just outright saying it. Like you can allude to things and stuff, but I just think that he was just a little bit too like cocky. And like right idea, wrong execution. Like I enjoy like the people trying to elevate strategy and trying to like do different things. But I just don't think that he did it correctly. And but there was still an opportunity there because Lisa did not expose him. I do think that there was something interesting there, but then Colton did some dumb stuff. You saw what happened. But there you go.
I don't really know how this could have worked for him, because it's not like he even said, like, I know you can't tell me, but I'll keep you. What is she supposed to say? Okay, cool, great, sounds good. And then he's gonna go be like, oh, I just tested Lisa, and guess what? Or he doesn't, and she exposes him, thinks either she exposes him or she doesn't, and he's right. And then let's say he didn't run his mouth around the castle for the whole time. She kills him, and then no one ever knows that conversation happened, and she gets out someone who says to her face, "I know you're a traitor." It doesn't feel like this was the most strategic move for him, because it's like you're exposing what you think because you think it's going to do something good for you. But like, you should just try and work with her naturally without saying she's a traitor. So then she says, "I can trust Colton." The same thing Rob is doing. I can trust Colton. I mean, Rob is actually in the clear with Colton for now. Who knows where he's gonna swing next week? But that's the move Colton is unknowingly doing, making a relationship with Rob and having like a trusted faithful to like work with. But this just like exposes Colton too much, I think. It's like too much of a big ego move.
Yeah,
I just don't see how it could work.
Right. Like I think that put in the right hands in the right person, then someone could have figured this out. Like Rob, like Boston Rob, I feel like could have figured a way to make this very interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like wrong messenger, wrong execution, you know what I'm saying? But like it has promise if you give it to someone that's not so hot in the water right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I would be interested in like thinking about some examples where this could have gone better. Boston Rob is someone who I think could have potentially pulled something like this off. I think maybe like a Wes could have pulled something like this off. He's kind of a weasel, but like Colton's just too unhinged, unreliable. He's like all over the place. And you can't trust him. So even just the fact that he did this is like unhinged. Like, dude, what are you thinking? How do you think this is gonna be happy? You have no relationship with her. You've been dragging her throughout. You like basically confronted her earlier today about her not wearing sunglasses so you can look into her eyes. Like, she knows you're coming for her. So what are you doing here? It was bizarre. I did think though, because this is a crazy ass move, she didn't falter. She was just like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm a faithful. I'm a faithful." And he's like, "Okay." And she's like, "No, I'm a faithful." And she's not happy. Obviously, she tells us in the confessional, she's like, "This guy's gotta fucking go."
Yeah, I mean, we feel the same way, Lisa. I hope it.
Trust me.
Out of here yesterday.
And to remind everybody on our draft, Lisa Rinna went undrafted, and Lance and I both know her from Housewives, and we did not have nice things to say about Lisa Rinna. I was not a fan of hers coming in. I watched all of her seasons. I knew of her from like pop culture previously. Not a Lisa Rinna fan. This show is making me like her, and I'm annoyed because I can't tell if I just hate Colton so much that I'm rooting for Lisa. And I'm like, I am not a Lisa Rinna stan, so I don't know why I'm rooting for her. But she actually did make me laugh a bunch of times as well.
Just like Tom Sandoval.
Tom Sandoval is the perfect case of like, everybody hates you, but you come on this show and you're campy and funny and not problematic, just stupid. And Colton, like, he didn't come, maybe he had an ego, but like it was a non-problematic, stupid ego. Like, he was so dumb that it was funny. But Colton is just like doing whatever it was at the opposite of what Tom was doing. And it's just, everybody hates him. He has no charm. Tom is at least like, he's always been fun to laugh at on Vanderpump Rules. So it's natural that transferred over. He should try and figure out how Tom Sandoval cleaned his image up with the show, because it's not working for him.
Right.
Okay, so we go to the roundtable directly after this Lisa Colton situation. Starts off very quiet. No one has anything to say. And Ron is like, "We gotta say something. We gotta use the time. Like, no one's got anything to say." And I'm like, this poor Ron. I mean, at this point, everybody's kind of feeling like it's a foregone conclusion. And Mark kicks it off, and they all bring up good points, and they're not wrong. Is that like the only way essentially that they can really clear Ron of any suspicion is to vote him out. But Ron, I do feel bad. Ron says a lot of things that are correct at this roundtable, and he comes for Colton, and he's like, "You have been wrong more than me." But because everybody doesn't like Michael, because he's like, "What, my Tiffany vote?" And he's like, "And Michael 2 weeks in a row, but because we don't like Michael, that's fine. And because you guys like Portia, you're still on me." And he's absolutely right. Like, Colton has been way more wrong, and Ron had actual evidence because Portia was talking crazy and made mistakes that would have pointed to a traitor.
Yeah, this group of faithful have felt like people who like maybe a majority of them like weren't in like the in crowd or something. Like, they feel included. Now it's like their turn to be like exclusive and stuff. And it's just like, again, and I'm sure that there's other people who hang out with Ron, but the only person that we've seen on camera like spend time with them to some point is like Rob. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of annoying. So yeah, no, this round table up till a certain point was just very frustrating. And I'm just like,
Very.
even like you guys were spending the entire afternoon talking about this whole plan to get Colton out, and then no one's here to talk about it until the last second. It's just really annoying, you know? Very
Yeah,
frustrating.
very. Ron does throw another shot at Dorinda because Dorinda starts speaking up. And then he's just like, I think we're at the point where you and I can no longer engage with each other and keep it respectful or something along those lines. And I'm like, what
I want to know what she
happened?
said.
What
I need to
happened?
know
I
what she
need to
said.
know. Me too. What
Yeah.
did she say to this man that he hates her so much? I need to know.
And why did no one else like clock her? Like what did she say? Like I need to
Right.
know why y'all edited this out. I hope he exposes the production. I saw that he posted on his
We gotta try and get an
Instagram something
interview.
about being like he admitted that he is actually autistic.
Yep.
And you know, he said there was a lot of nasty and bad things said about him, not only just in the show, but obviously online and stuff, and it just triggered a lot for him. I need to know what was said by Dorinda
Yeah.
because this what a flop fraternity by every means. Like, what did she say?
I mean, even like when they were earlier in the episode, they were in the kitchen, they were talking about him, and she's like, sometimes he's really engaged, and then sometimes he's standing and not saying anything. And I'm like, have you ever met a fucking human being, bitch? Like, not everybody's on all the time. What's your fucking problem? Like, just because you're a crazy person and you have crazy person energy doesn't mean everybody does. Like, leave his ass alone. What are you doing? And I feel bad. Like, you know, he first of all, it's nice and I'm glad that he felt comfortable sharing that he is on the spectrum, but like he shouldn't have to say that to justify not that I feel like he feels like he has to. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but like regardless, even if that wasn't the case, everybody treated him like shit. And now it's even like it looks even worse on them because he is autistic. He's sharing that information, and then you all look like you're bullying the one person in the house is different than you. Like that's fucked up.
And I said this like the last episode or two. I'm like, I understand not needing him here strategically because he did make a lot of bad reads. Even outside of the Porsche vote, like him calling people out because of like footsteps and everything. Like he was not by any means a good player, but also since he was not involved in any kind of strategy because the house excluded him, he didn't really have much else to work with. Like he at least tried based off of what he could, but you guys
tried more than a lot of people.
Yeah, like you guys didn't include him in anything, so it's like, what did you expect? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a bummer. I feel bad for Ron. And then he's started going around the table saying really nice goodbyes to everybody. And of course, everyone is like, wait, I don't think it's him. And I'm like, why? Because he's being nice and like showing his personality. Now you guys feel bad and you're like, this isn't right. I don't feel bad. I feel bad. It's not Ron. I'm like, it's too late. It's too late. You guys have been piling on him for a week.
He's like the most faithful thing I could do is allow you guys to vote me out so you can't find the faithful. That would have been like my trigger to be like, so that Colton vote that we were talking about earlier, like, are we still doing that or was that all like bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys were moving so secretive in having specific people in the room just for no one to speak up. That is so annoying to me. So frustrating.
Especially
I played LRGs,
all of them started saying they don't want to vote him out.
I played LRGs a couple, and like that is my biggest like pet peeve when everyone's talking all this crap and like ready to make a move, and it's time to do it, and nobody talks. It pisses me off because like I want you to lose now. Like it's one thing if you were like correct, but like at least be like if you're gonna be incorrect, at least be entertaining. Like you guys are just genuinely trash at this game. It's really frustrating. You know what I'm saying?
It's very frustrating. I get irritated by people like this in life, and I wish I could be the type of person that would just like not say anything. And like, there are times where I have things to say, and I'm like, just don't fucking say it. But I'm like, no, I can't help myself. Like, it comes out of me no matter what. I can't. And then I see people sitting at a table like this, especially at a moment, to your point, where everybody at the table is like, wait, especially Tara, who is Johnny's bestie, was in on the plan from the beginning, and then she's like, "This might get me murdered, but I don't think it's Ron." And then she should have said, "We all started talking about Colton. We all agree that Colton's leading us down a path. Like Michael was a distraction. We were saying Ron was a distraction. Now we're letting Colton be the distraction. Like, let's get the distractions out at least. Like, let's do that. If we all agree that it's not Ron, let's all get Colton out. Stop the chaos and letting Colton distract everybody again.
Yeah. I'm in full agreement with that.
Yeah. It sucks. I mean, Kristen did try. I think they just need to like speak up more in general, this whole cast. Kristen did try and say, if we're holding Ron accountable for Portia, because Ron made that good point, like, because we don't like Michael, we don't count that as you being wrong, which I just think it's also, by the way, hilarious that everybody openly hates Michael. Like, on social media, Lisa Rinna posted a reel and was like, oh, Michael, like, couldn't handle him. Everyone just said he just doesn't stop talking. They're openly talking about how they hate Michael in the house. I'm like, that's actually funny that everybody just openly hates this man. And like, I do think it's a fair point though from Ron. Like, you were still very loud and very wrong 2 weeks in a row where I was working with evidence and you were not. And Kristen says
faithful violence is so annoying. I hate faithful and faithful violence.
I can understand it if there's a reason for it. Like, if the Portia thing, she did that to herself. She was saying stuff that made no sense multiple times. It wasn't only one thing. She slipped up a bunch of times. So I understand, like, Ron piling on. I think he didn't handle it the right way or get enough people going ahead of time. But, like, fine. She gave you a reason. But they're just shooting at each other for no reason at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Johnny does bring up the fact, like, you're just as distracting as Michael, makes everybody feel like a puppet. Eric did say something too along the lines of, like, the Tiffany thing. Like, I felt like I didn't have a choice to vote for Tiffany. Like, you rushed it and you said, like, this is the move and we got to go for it and we're doing it. And it felt like it was getting like a little bit of traction. But Rob, it almost feels like, is the reason that it shut down, because Colton defended himself and then Rob was like, I believe you. It's like, wait, what are you doing? Like, I want to know your opinion on this Rob situation. We get to the votes. Well, I don't want to even get that far ahead. Okay, I'll put a pause on the Rob thing. I don't want to go too far out of order. Ron starts saying goodbye. Then everyone says it's not him. Then Tara speaks up saying, can I say something? I don't think it's Ron. And then Colton, tweaking out in his chair, can't sit still, can't wait to say Lisa's name. And he's like, well, if you guys need a name. And I'm like, I knew this man could not help himself. You said you're 100% going for Ron. You said you're not throwing out the name. And then you're sitting at the table and you immediately throw out Lisa's name. The second that you have a window, even though you already have heat on you for being loud and wrong and being the ringleader, you still can't help yourself. Give it a minute. Let it simmer. I hear it in my
Okay. I will say something.
Something's happening on my phone.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I hear something in the background. Sorry, guys. We're doing this live.
I can't hear I don't hear what you're hearing. Chat, is there something? Am I tripping?
No, I think it's me. I think I have a tab open.
Okay.
I don't really know what to do. Vamp a little bit. I got to close all my windows out.
All right, we're vamping. Shout out to chat. Let me look at this real quick. Mary said, now let me drag Ron a little. Don't quit. And if you're going to quit, it like Harriet on that UK. LOL. No, it's on Katie's side. We can't hear it. Okay,
here's what's happening in my life if you want to know. I got new earbuds or whatever. And they have touch controls, and I must have touched something and it started to play in the background on a different tab and I have like 700 tabs open. So I had to find the window.
I've had those moments.
So sorry. User error. My bad. All right, we're back. Where were we? Sorry. Anyway, okay, so Colton throws out Lisa's name. And he's like, well, if you want, like, Lisa, Housewives should never go for Housewives, and you're not the Lisa Rinna I was expecting. You're no drama, whatever. And she snapped back and she's like, well, no, I'm a faithful, and I actually think you're a traitor. I didn't really know the best way to handle this. He also exposed himself and said, we had a conversation about this. So she couldn't even really like pull that out and use it against him unless she went on the full offensive as soon as the roundtable started. I don't think that would have been in her best interest. But
I think she should have spoke when everyone was piling on Colton, because you waited to the last second. I think that made you look so shady. And the fact that you decided then to say something after Colton said it makes it look like, especially with a little bit of time left in the roundtable, that you had zero intentions of never bringing this up. Now I'm going to be like, why didn't you say something? That's something that a faithful would have brought up, in my opinion, especially if someone is accusing you of being a traitor and looking you in the eyes and saying, keep me in the turret. If you allow him to bring up, it gives him automatic power, because now everyone's going to look at you and be like, why didn't you say anything? I don't think Lisa would have got any votes by any means if she brought this up when Colton was getting dragged. So she waited. Now she looks like such a traitor and she's cooked. Like, I really feel like, that's why I said earlier, I think Colton trapped her successfully, because it's like, if you don't say anything, you look so bad here. And then now you're going to be uppity for the rest of the season, and you're going to have to constantly try to talk down these things. But like, the question is always going to be, why did you not bring this up? You know what I'm saying? Just like you saw Ron, everyone kept questioning Ron. Why didn't Ron bring that small detail up about that twist when they were all tied to trees? Now everyone's going to look at Lisa. Why didn't you bring that up? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Especially when Colton gets eventually voted out and then everyone sees he's a faithful. Lisa is got to be the first person to go, I feel like, you know. So it's
that would be my only concern if she brought it up and said, this man came to me and said, I'll protect you at the round table if you protect me at the in the turret. Then that gets the votes on Colton. He's a faithful. Then they have to get Lisa next, because he's probably right.
I'd rather her bring it up than him bring it up, because like, all right, like we even saw like Portia bring up like a certain I think it was Candace's name or something, and then it got like thrown back on her because Candace confronted it, and then Portia's gone. Candace is still here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that she should have said something earlier.
Yeah, I think it's a lose-lose no matter what. I think Lisa, I mean, we said at the beginning of the episode, I think Lisa's days are numbered, unfortunately. I don't think she's playing out of the three of them, I think she's the worst traitor of the three. I think she's just not, she's there. She's like over the top a little bit at breakfast, which is what people have noticed about her. She's doing a lot of breakfast, but then at the round table, she's not saying anything. She's not really like engaging in the playing. She's doing the missions, she's doing the breakfast, but the round table, the investigations, the putting people's names out, she's not really doing that. So I think that makes her in itself just very obvious that she's a traitor, or she's just not playing a good faithful game, one or the other. She's suspicious. But I think the reasons that Colton called out are not good reasons. And, you know, he keeps just saying things like, oh, finally, this is the Lisa Rinna I was expecting. And this is the Lisa Rinna. Well, you finally woke up. And I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Shut up. It's like, you can't have a conversation with a irrational asshole like this, because like, no matter what she says back to him, he's going to like poke at her and pick at her. And it's like, that is the most obnoxious type of person to deal with in life. It's like, just stop fucking talking. Like, get out of my fucking face and stop fucking talking, because you can't even like, once he's on you, you're not going to get him off. So just like, get out of here. Then, you know, then Natalie kind of jumps in, and they do say the thing about like, oh, the Housewives and Portia, and you did vote for Portia, and I would never vote against my people. And I like Natalie as a player on Survivor. I do not watch Amazing Race. I am really not liking her in the Traitors. I find her to be very annoying and like goody two shoes faithful, annoying to me on this show. Like, enough with this. The show is called Traitors. You don't have to take a moral high ground. I would never vote out my people. You have to stick together. Like, enough.
I hate the fact that she thinks she's a ringleader, but she's actually not in like the in crowd
she's for not doing shit.
The Colton group. Yeah, like she's just kind of here. You know. Right.
Exactly. Lisa says, I'm not going to dance on table. I'm not going to break a wine glass. I don't have to. Which are two Housewives references. She says, I think you're a traitor. Back and forth is going on. Rob is like stressing on the side, because he's now painted himself into a situation where he either has to vote for Ron, who he said multiple times, I don't think Ron's a traitor. He has to vote for Colton, who he said multiple times, I believe you, I trust you, I'm working with you. Or he has to vote for Lisa, who publicly he's not connected to really, a little bit, probably. They're in rooms together, but they're not like tight. But that's a fellow traitor. And he doesn't know if she's going to leave. So it's like, you're putting yourself, he kind of did this to himself. I think it was actually not a good move. Like, you're doing a little too much saying I trust you and I believe you. And then you had to pick a side once the vote comes, which he did. And he picked Lisa as the vote. So I want to know what do you think about Rob's like move set here? All of the moves of Rob.
The exact thing that he should have did, and I think that he should be getting a lot more credit. I think that what he did has perfectly set him up to look like the ultimate faithful. Because now the question is, one, he was involved with Johnny's group with the Colton vote, even though like they shouldn't have trusted him. He's still very tightly on Colton's side, who, when he eventually gets voted out, is a faithful. He was defending Ron's name, who was a faithful. History's going to, this cast has been playing history games a lot, and history shows that he has always been with the faithful. I think that everybody likes Rob. I think that he is so set to do well. The only people that he should be worried about are his fellow traitors. And I think that Candace is his biggest threat right now. I think Lisa is in too much hot water to actually do anything. I think the only thing that happens now is that Rob has little to no influence on the kills now, because he will instantly be outnumbered and they can easily vote out people that he's cool with. So that sucks. But on the other hand, his best bet is Lisa getting out of here and then them recruiting someone that he feels like he can work with. That will be the best move for Rob to possibly do some damage in the game. But as long as both Lisa and Candace are here to dictate the kills and stuff, he's kind of stuck, So I think that he's in such a prime position as a traitor. I just think that it's going to be a little rocky from here because of his teammates. But I think he's in the best position out of all the traitors, and I think that it was a very astute move, especially if Lisa goes. That would have been beautiful, but she didn't. I still think that he's going to be in a great spot unless they try to like turn a vote on him, so I like it. I actually really think Rob's doing well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, I see Mary in the chat. Shout out to Mary. She's really funny tonight. But I think Rob, if you watched his Love Island season, he has a really hard time. I think he just like spreads himself too thin, and he's like, I just like everybody, and then he ends up crying under a pool, under a shelf, in the water, like in the most embarrassing dramatic scene ever, because he can't choose between like two women, or he chose one and he hurt the other one's feelings. And I feel like he's doing that here on Traitors, and get him a pool to jump into so he could cry it out, because like I understand. He says to us too, like, I almost want to be a faithful because I just like everybody and I don't want to vote anyone out. Like, great, but that's not the game. And you were doing a good job. Like, don't get clouded by your emotions in this whole thing. But I do think he put himself in a position where he had to vote for Lisa in that scenario, because he's so publicly attached to the other two. It would have been very suspicious if he didn't. Same as Lisa getting heat for voting Portia. I mean, I would say Rob is more tied in the game to Colton and Ron than Lisa was to Portia, because the only thing they had in common was Housewives. And I think he's going to be fine. I don't think that Candace has enough influence to swing votes against Rob if she was going to try and set him up. I think he's better set up with relationships in the house. He obviously has Maura, which there's a lot of rumors about a showmance with them, first ever Traitors showmance, maybe. Obviously everybody likes Rob. Even Dorinda was like hugging up on him, saying like, oh, you're my traitor husband. Everybody loves Rob. He has pretty privilege. He's handsome. He's nice. He seems like a nice dude. No one's going against Rob. So he's got the upper hand, even though he made a little bit of a fumble here. Lisa has to tread lightly because there's so much heat on her, and Candace's allies are all gone. So like, who's she gonna pull together if it's traitor versus traitor? Rob's gonna win every time in that scenario. Which sucks for Candace, but I think Rob, he took a risk. And I also think like they're going to forgive him anyway. Like, they're not going to hold a grudge and totally flip it. Like, they were kind of joking around in the kitchen. She was throwing cookies at him, Candace. So I think he's going to be fine, but it was a risky move. Right. I do think it was the right move though.
I think so.
It was a move he had to do because of how he laid it out for himself.
It'll pay off. I think it'll be fine for him.
Yeah, I think so too. So Ron goes, but the votes are all over the place. And this is just why I wanted to say, like, Tara voted Colton. Lisa voted Colton, obviously. Johnny voted Colton. Kristen voted Colton. No one else voted Colton. So Johnny was trying to get a group of Mark. He was trying to get Eric. He tried to bring in Rob. He tried to bring in Maura. None of those people voted Colton. That all were together saying, we got to get Colton tonight. We got to rip the Band-Aid off and get Colton tonight. None of them did it, except for 4 people who just like don't like Colton. What a flop. Like Lisa almost went tonight.
Yeah.
And her name wasn't even out there.
Mark was annoying me. Dorinda annoyed me. Even Johnny. I forget who he voted. I didn't really care.
Johnny voted Colton.
Yeah, but it's just like you were still heavy on the Ron train. It's just like there's such a cry for a leader in this house, and I think Colton thinks he is, and he's not. There's no. This is the first season of this version of the Traitors that I haven't seen a like concrete leader, because all the possible leaders are out. This is really tough to watch. So
yeah,
I don't know.
This is if you watch Traitors UK season 2, there's a traitor who's a really good traitor, and he is giving me a little bit of Rob energy. Like Rob's giving me a little bit of energy of him, sort of. And he's just like very nice, friendly, young. I guess he was handsome in a traditional kind of way. And like he charmed everybody. So no one was really like looking at him. And he had a really close ally who was a girl. And I'm feeling like Maura could be, I don't know. My partner Matt and I were talking about this when we were watching last night. And I was like, I think I could see a game like that for Rob, which would be good for Rob. But I think he could be the leader. Like that traitor took over sort of as a leader of the house, but he was such a good like playing as a faithful that no one suspected him. And I could see Rob stepping in as the leader, even though he's the traitor.
Agreed.
Which would be exciting. I would like to see it. I'm rooting for a traitor win. I don't care who it is. I don't even if they recruit someone, as long as it's not Colton, I don't care. I'm tired of flop faithfuls winning. It's very boring. Yeah. Mark has the deciding vote. It's tied between Ron and Lisa. So if he votes for Ron or Lisa, that person will leave. If he votes Colton, then it becomes a 3-way tie. And then they go to tiebreaker, which I actually don't remember what they did for the tiebreaker last season when it happened, but it's fine because it didn't happen. So bye, Ron. Ron's time has come to an end. Poor guy. Yeah, it's sad. Alan tells us Ron had no chance anyway to redeem himself. So this was, I do think, the right thing. Just let him go home. Let him see his family. Alan comes in and tells us we reached the halfway point. He's hosting a banquet to celebrate. Everyone come dressed up. And here we go. It's happening tonight. Everyone go get your clothes on. So after Alan leaves, Colton is still on one and says, I will take both of us down just to get you out at the table, which I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, just fucking chill. You got votes. You almost had a 3-way tie for all 3 of you to go, and you're coming in still. You don't even take a breath. I'll take both of us out just to take you down. Okay. So she's like, so fucking do it. Like, do it then. I don't fucking care. Come for me, whatever. And then they kind of get into it a little bit later as well. Lisa, I think Lisa did a good job here after this, kind of defending herself. They all go into the bar room. She's like, I need a drink. And then Natalie comes in and she's like, can I just tell you why that vote didn't sit right with me? And like, I just want you to understand like why the housewife thing. And she's like, no, I actually like don't, because you expect me to be something a specific way just because I'm a housewife. And I haven't been a housewife for a while. I've been a celebrity for 36 years or whatever. She was a housewife for a time. And she was on Instagram today saying too, like, she's been off Housewives for 3 years. Like, she's not on the Housewives anymore. She's not an active housewife. And she's like, just because you expect someone to be in a specific way doesn't mean like they're going to be that way. And then Colton came in and basically said the same thing. Like, that's where she said, I've been in this business for 36 years and I'm so much more than a fucking housewife. So don't expect me to be one because I'm Lisa fucking Rinna before and I was Lisa fucking Rinna now. And like, you expect me to be one way. And then he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to go for every single shield. So you better murder me tonight. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to ever again. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know how we got here, but okay. But I thought Lisa saying this was good to put out there. Like, stop
Yeah, but I
labeling me as
also
this because like I might that doesn't mean I'm going to be on 24/7. I am a normal person who happened to be on a show called The Housewives.
I agree. I just feel like it's going to be tough because the argument was always, why is she like popping out like this now when she was like, the consistency just isn't there. But I agree.
Yeah.
Like she had to say something.
Yeah, she had to address it. It was the elephant in the room. I think she did a good job, as good of a job as she could do. And
Yeah.
then Colton was like, finally got the Lisa, the housewife. And she's like, oh, yeah, you want me to fucking turn it on for you? Like, then it's not like, I'll do like that. And I'm like, good for her. I'm glad she's like, if she is turning it on, it's like she's activated. You're causing her to put it out there. So at least she's doing it at like the right moments. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad she didn't just go over the top because she found out her name was out there.
Agreed.
I do like don't really understand the strategy of Colton saying like I'm just gonna go for every fucking shield and you're never gonna be able to get me out, and like you don't win automatically if you get to the end, so like it doesn't really help
Yeah.
you, especially if once you get to the end and there are no shields left and everyone hates you, they're not gonna want to win with you. They're gonna
Right.
want to take more money. So like I don't know that this is the strategy, bro.
It's not, but it's
It's not.
entertaining, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know what's going to come out of this dude's mouth. It's just like he's
At all.
completely wild, totally wild. So then we get a flashback and we find out about this amulet. So in the turret last night, they couldn't murder, but Alan did give them a heads up about this banquet that's upcoming. And he's like, oh, the secret amulet or whatever. And they have to choose who's going to wear this brooch or pin. And they're like, oh, this would be perfect for you, Lisa. And Lisa's like, oh, yeah, I could fucking do this. Like, this is me. I got this. Prior to this disaster that took place the day before, which is just like the worst scenario after choosing to be the one who has to murder in plain sight and get someone to like come to you and touch this ornate brooch on your outfit. Like, who's doing that now?
Right.
That sucks. And they also have to go right into this murder in plain sight and they don't get a chance to go back to the turret and like clear the air. So they have this awkward kitchen moment. I think Rob handled it fine. I don't think Lisa did point at him and was like, I don't trust you right now. She didn't say it forever. She said, I don't trust you right now. And Candace was like being a little jokey and was like, that was really risky, dude. Like, what are you doing? But I do think Rob explained himself pretty well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he handled it right.
Do you think Lisa's going to kill someone? They also said, like, it's up to you. Decide.
Yes.
Because you need to figure it out.
For sure. I think someone's going to die.
You think someone's going to touch it?
I think someone's going to die.
Interesting.
Who? I don't know, but I think someone's going to die. It has to happen.
I think this is a really weird approach to murder in plain sight because, like, I'm not just going up to people touching their jewels. Are you?
I would get someone to... I would purposely put sauce in my shirt or something. Be like, wait, can you wipe this off for me with your handkerchief? My hands are disgusting.
Interesting.
It's
that's not a bad move.
I don't know what they plan on having them do because Alan's going to be there too. So they probably have him playing a game or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we did see some interesting stuff in the preview. Everybody's dressed crazy, first of all. Alan has said in many interviews that this is the craziest episode and the craziest like murder.
Craziest.
He did say that last season about Danielle falling on the ground, shaking and crying, and he was not wrong. That was crazy. So, I mean, it was entertaining. There's been crazier moments, I'm sure, but he wasn't wrong about that. And we do hear people fighting, like in the trailer. Mark is saying, like, you're just being paranoid. And then Kristen's getting up and walking away and said, like, just let the people fucking fight it out. And I'm like, who's fighting? Who's paranoid? Who's fighting?
Fucking someone random, like, I'm ready for mess at this point. I don't even care who it is.
Me too. I'm also ready for mess, which kind of brings me to like this season as a whole. Because I think this season actually sucks. I think the gameplay is completely fucking terrible. But last night's episode, people in the chat are saying it. Everyone I've talked to said is like, this is the best episode so far, and this episode was great. I'm like, the episode was great. It's back half after the mission. But the game sucks. The cast sucks. The game sucks. There's no one to root for other than the traitors at this point. What are we doing here?
Who knows at this point? Listen, I'm along for the ride, but like, there's a lot of randomness at this point. I don't really know what to expect. We're just here at this point, Katie.
I feel like I get this to this point at the halfway mark of every US Trader season where I'm like, all right, let's just like get to the end and see who wins because like the gameplay is not game playing and everybody's annoying.
Yeah. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
Notice
every
that I'm not even
season.
animated. I'm just kind of like, all right, let's get on with the next episode. I wish it was 2
Right.
this week because whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, there's not a lot of ruble people this season. I just don't really care too much for this cast, you know?
All the people we wanted to root for are gone.
There you go.
Except I was rooting for Candace from the get-go, so she's my rooting interest.
Okay.
My first draft pick, but I don't know. I don't know if she's got it in her. I've also
No,
lost 2 draft picks. How many of you lost? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't know at all. I can check, but I'm sure it's tragic. I would have to look at the YouTube video.
I lost Donna and I lost Ron. But I've got
Yeah.
Rob and I've got Candace, so I do think I might have a winner on my team.
I know I have Eric. Let me see. Here it is. The draft. Let's go to the end. I can screen share real quick if you
Yeah,
want.
do you want to throw it up and we can do a quick check-in?
I forgot I wore a whole.
Mary's saying a lot
suit.
of the Bravo girlies are loving the season, which is interesting.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
I mean, I love Candace, so I'm happy.
They hate Big Brother and Survivor, and
I am a Bravo girly and I'm a gamer. We can be both.
Not most of them. Let's see. I lost Tiff. I lost Rob, and then I think she's gone too.
Who is that?
Right?
Tara?
Oh,
Caroline.
So I have Eric left. It's so horrible.
Oof, that's rough.
You have Candace. You lost her. I don't even know. Is it Steven? I guess.
That's Rob.
So you got Rob and Kate. You got 2 traitors. Lance has Natalie, Johnny, and what's his face? Mark. Javier has
Colton poor Javier
and Steven. And then
that's
Julia rough. I only have one person.
Julia's whole team is still there. Good
yeah, Julia's doing really good. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And our undrafted.
It's tragic.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts? I can't
ready for next week.
1 episode a week.
Yeah, I'm ready for next week. This is boring. I'm bored. Entertain me. I'm done.
Tired of the cliffhangers. It's irritating me.
I could sit here and complain for another 15 minutes, but I don't feel like it. I've said I sound like a broken record at this point about the editing style of the show. It's very redundant, repetitive, and to be quite frank, it's getting very predictable. But right, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't like when shows are built on a formula and then they change the formula. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's happening? All right. Well, you're not here next week.
I'm not.
Hopefully we'll have Javier. If not, I'll be here. I'll be here with someone. We'll figure it out. Surprise guest next week. Whether it's Javier or someone else, or Javier and someone else, we'll
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who will love to take my spot.
I'm sure. Everybody's got a lot to say about the show. It does drive a lot of conversation. So
it does.
In the meantime, where can everyone find you?
Guys can follow me at 8 Ball Bangers on everything. And we are covering obviously Traitors every Friday, but we are now covering Fear Factor, the House of Silence podcast with Ganjo and Cheyenne. Our good silent podcast friend Lance Richard is on this season.
He did our draft with us.
Fear Factor, yes, he did our draft with us, and he is such a star, and he's making the show very entertaining. Cheyenne and Ganja are great conversations, so please check that out. We're trying to get an exit press for that if Fox will hook us up or not, but regardless, I'm having such a fun time watching that, more than I thought I would. So make sure you check that out. Yeah. Shout out to Lance.
Shout out to Silent Podcast. We're producing some stars. Who's next? Mark was first. If you guys watched the game season 2, shout out to our guy Mark.
People not talking about it. Listen. Some networks might got Survivors, but we got Squid Gamers and we got Fear Factors. That's just the start.
And just listen, those shows are high key more fun than Survivor. Just saying, you're not going to see the mess. I don't know. I haven't watched Fear Factor yet. I have to catch up and support Lance. But if you watched Mark, you know he was the star of the show on Squid Game. If you watch season 2, so
we're providing the stars.
Okay? Anything but silent over here. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky at realslimkatie.bluesky, whatever. Realslimkatie. Whatever. Bluesky.social, whatever it is. I used to just read it from here, but now I had to change my banner so you guys know how much I hate Colton. If you couldn't tell by the conversation. I'll be here next week. That's all I've got going on, but you can follow me over there. And in the meantime, please give us some love if you liked what you heard tonight. If you didn't like what you heard tonight, then like just wait until next week or something when it's a little better. Although I think it was fine. Don't hate on
It
us
was.
for tonight. I think it was fine. Just search Silent Podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. So search us, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. Thank you guys for being here. We will be back next week with another episode of Sign the Traitors with some more mess to talk about. And hopefully we'll be celebrating Colton's demise. Who knows? We can wish.
Hopefully.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.